Now, you talked about how when you were in San Francisco, you had just a bunch of trap houses around and stuff like that.
I did a lot of different shit, man. I just always had access to the best weed, and I knew how to work. And I feel like my trap house was when I was able to be at that dispensary when I was young. And when you're able to be in a dispensary with the kind of position I had at that young of an age, I mean, fuck, the sky's the limit. I was able to turn up.
Right, because you were actually working in the dispensaries originally.
Working, yep. I was working there as a bud tender at first, and then moved up to like store manager. I was doing all the buying of the product and deciding what goes on the shelf and whatnot. And so, at 18 years old, 19-year-old, that's a lot of it's a lot of power in someone's hands.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm from the Bay Area as well. I moved out in 2002, but I remember right around 97, 98, I was hanging out with this group of people that were like the original, um, group that were getting weed legalized in California.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones behind, what was it, Prop 187 or
Nah, 215.
215, my bad,
Yeah,
yeah. So
Proposition
the people
215.
behind, I remember it was like Tony Serra was one of the lawyers,
Yeah,
and
I shouted him out in my last album.
yeah,
Big
yeah.
shout
And
out.
then it was another group of people I can't really mention, but they were like putting all the money behind it, and I was seeing how weed was becoming legal, and it was like people were basically putting their stakes down into a business that they knew was about to be multi-billion
Yeah,
later on. But
The Bay Area was the ground zero for medical
yeah,
marijuana popping off. Rest in peace to Dennis Perone. He was the dude that put Proposition 215 in position and made a lot of lives change.
okay. So you're working in these weed shops, and was medical marijuana completely legal at this point or no?
Well, no, because it's still not completely legal. I mean, it's legal in the state,
Yeah.
but federally it's not. So, people can come in and shop, but I remember one day Highway Patrol came in the store and handcuffed everybody and took all the money out the safes and the registers and bounced without no warrant or no paperwork. And I remember undercover cops being in front when we leave telling me, "You're fucking ruining your life. You're about to fucking wish you never did this. You're playing with the wrong game." I'm like, huh? Like what is this narc from the neighborhood telling me? I remember feds pulled me off the plane asking me hella questions, all of my business about what I was doing at the store and where we get our weed from and who's our main supplier. And it's just like, shut up, I ain't telling you shit. And I remember that harassment. It still sticks with me today. And so, nah, it wasn't completely legal, but it was legal in the state.
So you're working in these places, and you're essentially as the main buyer and the intake guy, you're connecting with all the growers and everything else like that.
Your network
So
is your net worth.
yeah, exactly. And these are the guys that are, I mean, this is like the Humboldt guys that have the huge outdoor operations and everything.
It's Humboldt County growers with the sun growing. It's indoor growers with like little 10 lighters and 20 lighters in the city, and just growers in general, breeders and growers and hash makers and edible companies and everybody.
Okay, and based on, because I know that, I mean, I'm a smoker. I have a medical marijuana card, right? And I know I could come in and buy, like, how much can I buy maximum? Because I never do that, but how much can I buy at one time?
I think now it's 8 ounces.
Okay, huge amount.
Yeah.
Now, as a grower, how much can you legally grow?
Well, that's where it gets gray area.
Yeah.
There was never. It was 215 was written by some geniuses. It's a lot of gray area, man, and you really had to roll your dice. I mean, we could say that anything under 99 plants is not federal. So it just depends on who busts you and what day it's on and how they're feeling. If they had a bad argument with their wife the night before and they show up and you got 80 plants and you have a medical card, they could still take you in and fuck you and try to keep your shit, or they could be like, he's medical, let's not waste their time. So, it was a real gray, real gray.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting business. It's, because under Obama, they really weren't putting a lot of resources into marijuana. But then you got, Trump and Jeff Sessions who feel a little bit differently about it. So you're always you never quite know what's going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen. And even now, you got people putting hundreds of millions of dollars into recreational weed and the game. And then, Sessions could change his mind and say, this shit, we're pulling everybody. So it's crazy. But I feel like the kind of money that's went in recently and the kind of people that are backing some of this money, It's here to stay.
Right. Because, now it's actually expanded quite a bit. I remember I saw a video that you did. I think it was in Las Vegas. It was like this huge multi-million-dollar growing facility
Oh, a
with like
reef? Yeah, yeah.
it had its own like air filtration system and its own generators and it like how much is a system like that? Like 10, 20 million, something like that? It looked
Man,
crazy.
you got to put a lot of bread. It could be anywhere from 5 to 30. I've seen Dutch greenhouses recently that cost 20. Um, it all depends on which route you want to go. I mean, we have production in SoCal that's sun grown. That's not like a Dutch greenhouse. Some companies paying $20 million to get a good product. We use the sun in our IP, all the knowledge we have from the game, and don't have to put up 20 million for shit. We can get the same product, if not better, just by our genetics and our IP and the way we dry it and everything like that. So it can vary. You can put a lot of money and go crazy, or you can just
Right. Because you actually started expanding yourself. Now you actually have multiple dispensaries?
Yeah. So right now I got the one in Maywood, which is by downtown LA, and we're about to open up the one on Melrose, which is a fucking great location, maybe in October. And I had a good amount in the Bay Area that was under a licensing deal, but that deal is now over. And I'm planning to slowly build it up, just like I built my music catalog up and own all my own shit, and build it the way I want to build it with the correct vision and with the quality of storefront and employee and product that the Bay Area deserves.
Okay. Because I have another page called Vlad Stocks where I talk a lot about stock investing. And one of the most common questions is people want to invest in weed stocks. And I've always said I don't touch it, not because I don't think it's a good business, it's because I don't know anything about it. When I own, Sneaker Watch, the website, I invested in Nike and Adidas stock because I knew exactly when those businesses started to shift, when something got hotter, when something didn't get, started to slow down. And with weed, I know nothing, which is why I don't touch it. I don't know if canopy growth is a great investment or a bad investment. But number one, do you invest in weed stocks?
No.
And why is that?
Because right now I feel like a lot of the stocks that are up there right now, we don't know what's gonna happen with them. And much love to Canopy, much love to Aurora, to Afria, to MedMen, to the Harvest, to Have a Heart, to all my family that's in that game right now, in the stock game. But I'm gonna invest in myself because I always invested in myself. So the way I want to do cookies is a little different. I wanna build this thing up. We have a brand that's globally recognized. We have all the strains, we have the breeding, we have the production and manufacturing, the cultivation, the dispensaries. I'm gonna take my shit private, man. I'm gonna keep it private. We're gonna do a private raise, and I want to just keep building my shit. And I want to wait till it's not just the Canadian players that are in the market. I want to wait till Southern Wine or Heineken or look at what Constellation just did with $4 billion in the canopy growth. Why wouldn't I
Right.
think that cookies can get an investment like that if we have everything, all the infrastructure, but we're really, looked at as one of the first brands with an identity and one of the biggest global players. So it's hard not to want to invest in a stock or to take a stock deal because we were offered a lot of money in stock for our company. And a lot of me wanted me to do that, but I also said, you've always invested in yourself and you've always waited. Why not? Why take a different approach?
Okay, so it's not that they're a good or a bad company. You'd rather just keep the money for yourself at this.
I'd rather just invest in myself.
Yeah.
Now, and another reason why I don't know if I'd invest in stock because there's so many of them. It's like .com. It's just so many people are going crazy. I want to see the actual performances. I want to see who's able to manage these big grows. I want to see who's able to turn customers in their stores. I want to see who gets bad reputations, who doesn't. Like I gotta let them play ball a little bit before I put money behind them.
Well, and there you have it. If someone like a Berner is not putting his money into these weed stocks, someone like a Vlad definitely has no no business
You
doing it.
gamed me up about stocks many years ago, and I should have listened. And I definitely respect the question because yeah, a lot of people ask me the same thing too. Berner, what should we invest in? How do we get in? And I don't want anyone to spend their money on something I'm not sure about. And I said, listen, is Canopy gonna pop? Probably, of course. Is Aurora gonna pop? Probably, of course. Of course they're all gonna pop. How, when, and where? I don't know. So for me personally, I'm just putting my shit behind me.